Welcome to the Soccer Podcast with no name. My name is Cheez. I'm joined here by my co-host, DaBongz. DaBongz, how are you doing today?
Hey, Mr. Cheese, I'm doing ecstatically well. Yeah, some teams are trophy-winning teams now, so it's good. I think all my teams this weekend did well.
Bongs, I know not only did you get paid, but a couple of your teams won this weekend. Speaking of which, let's start. Kaizer Chiefs overcame Orlando Pirates by a late own goal by Elisa Nda in the Soweto Derby. Were Kaizer Chiefs deserved winners of this game?
Well, look, having watched that match, the only conclusion I can come to is that Kaizer Chiefs were deserved winners in that match. It was a match of obviously for where both teams were, trying their best and looking for that 3 points. I do think that it was not as entertaining as one would think or would expect, especially with both teams being on and off this season. I do think that maybe that had that played a factor in them not giving one of the great performances, as well as Lorch. Some players like Lorch were not doing great in the match. You can see he's still struggling for that game fitness as well as form in the match. So I think for me, Kaizer Chiefs were deserved winners, not because they played better than Pirates, not because they did well, but because they got that obvious own goal from Dow, and they won the match. At the end of the day, if you don't take your chances, you lose the match. So at the end of the day, Udove passed that ball over there, trying to hit Caleb or one of his players there, and fortunately enough, he was lucky that Ndao would do what he's famous for, a repeat of something he did in the first leg of the match. So I think Chiefs deserved 3 points, a double, by the way, on Orlando Pirates to shush all these talkers. These Buccaneers, they talk too much.
Bongs, there is no way that Kaizer Chiefs deserved to win that match. Orlando Pirates went 10 men down thanks to a tackle that didn't make sense to me by Maela. Some say he should have made that tackle, but I say he should have let that guy go. Saile was never going to score there. These PSL players, when it comes to one-on-ones, you cannot trust them fully. So in that instance, you should have let him go, and he was going to be one-on-one with the keeper. Who's to say he was going to score? We do not know for sure. But once you tackle a man and you're the last man, you have to go. You have to take an early shower. Then the goal. Dove just plays a floater inside the box. Nda, of course, he makes a mistake. I don't know, he's backpedaling. I don't know what he's doing or what he's thinking. But the goalkeeper, where are you going? It's either you're coming to come punch the ball or you're coming to come do something with sense. But he did neither. He was in between the poles and Nda headed it made it into a beautiful header into the back of the net. So I do not think that Kaizer Chiefs deserve to win this game because both of these teams didn't show enough to win the game. Yes, I am a Orlando Pirates supporter. I am very biased, but I do not think either team deserved to win this game. Both teams, especially Kaizer Chiefs, were very negative in their tactics. They waited, especially in the first 20 minutes of the game. They weren't playing any football. They were, it seemed like they were scared of Pirates or something, or maybe that's tactics from Zwane. Who knows? But I have to say that I reiterate, actually, that both teams didn't deserve to win this game. This one should have been a 0-0 draw.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you on that one, but it's okay. Let's not talk too much. There's too much heartache. Moving on to the second one, Zwane survived another game as Kaizer Chiefs coach with his team, obviously beating Orlando Pirates. In the game before the derby, Chiefs fans were chanting Zwane must go. How much time does a win over their rivals, Pirates, give Zwane as head coach at Kaizer Chiefs?
Of course, a win against Orlando Pirates gives you a lot of credit in the bank. I was listening to radio. I forgot which station it was, but some apparently he's an analyst. I've never heard of this guy in my life before, but he said what, and but apparently he's close to both organizations of Pirates and Chiefs. You are saying if you are a coach and you lose a derby, you are going to be fired. So we have yet to, we are still going to see if that's going to be true for Jose Riviero, because he's lost 2 derbies in a row. We'll just have to see how that pans out for him. Arthur Zwane, I think if he lost this derby, he was going. There was no if, buts, or maybes about it. He was not going to make it to the next game if Kaizer Chiefs lost this game against an on-form Orlando Pirates. But now that he won in the biggest game in South African football, like I said, he has credit in the bank. He has 2 more games in which he needs to prove himself. Kaizer Chiefs are not a bad team at all. Kaizer Chiefs have good players. It's just that I'm not too sure if it's a coaching. I'm not too sure if the players are not understanding the instructions from the coach. But I think with the team that Kaizer Chiefs has, they could be doing better right now. But as of right now, Kaizer Chiefs, with the talent they have, they're not playing as well as they should. And at the end of the day, the coach is always to blame if the team is not winning.
In your statement, look, I think for me, Arthur Zwane, look, I've always said this when he got the job. I thought it was a great opportunity for him. He understands the culture of the team. You know, he's a local coach as well. Obviously, a previous player, recent player of Kaizer Chiefs. I think that for me, as a Kaizer Chiefs fan, I would give him more time. Essentially, all I'm saying is I was not part of the fans that were shouting, Zwane must go. Yes, I'm frustrated as a Kaizer Chiefs fan. I'm frustrated that the team is not winning games that they should win. The team is on and off. They are winning games, and then the next thing, they are losing 3 games in a row. You can win, lose, maybe draw, but you don't lose 3 games in a row and say you are building something with the team. So at the end of the day, I think Arthur Zwane is building a team. I think there are some positives. You can look at especially the fact that he has a number of players that he, even you saw in the debut as he made the substitutes. One player can come off and another player can come in, which is something we haven't had in a long time at Kaizer Chiefs. Players that you can replace and say, okay, you can still trust the ones that are coming on to play. Abongezane, I think, are improving at the back or winger. Boshabalala getting that game time, as I mentioned. Dolly is on and off. Bosekota, I think he needs to maybe start a game or 2 to gain that confidence, obviously, to do his trade. So at the end of the day, I think Arthur Zwane, critically, he needs to change his formation, try to find a formation that works for Kaizer Chiefs, because he has quick and fast players on the wings, and in the game you saw that they were attacking on the left flank more than the right flank at times, on the right flank more than the left flank. So you need to put players that would balance the game out, have that pace on the wings. But I think most importantly than the players, I think Arthur Zwane needs to play with his formation. Also just take risk, maybe try a 3-5-2 and put 2 strikers. Maybe start with Saile and Caleb at the same time, see what happens, and then try and maybe bring in other players to replace as you go. But take those chances, and I believe if he tries a 3-5-2 with a diamond shape in the middle, and using Dolly to try and attack. We know Ngobo is still maybe not fit enough, injured, but as he comes back, I think he'll have a team that can attack and beat teams, but he just has to be adventurous. And for me, I don't think he deserves to get fired. I think that he's doing well.
Orlando Pirates went down to Chiefs in the dying moments of the game thanks to an Olisanda own goal. After playing the majority of the half with 10 men, I'm joined here by Talking Buccaneers, Fumane. We're going to have a conversation about Orlando Pirates. Fumane, how do you feel about the result? Should they feel proud of their effort or disappointed in the loss?
Cheese, thank you for having me on your podcast. It's a real pleasure. I'm a huge fan of what you do. I wish I was as charismatic as you on my podcast, because I think a lot of people think I'm those disgruntled fans a lot of the time. But how did I feel about the defeat? You know what? This was a hard one to take. I think because the anticipation for this one was huge on the Buccaneers side. And leading up to this game, you felt like there was something building up, even though every now and again, you always think that there's mistakes that are done by the technical team, or I think so anyway. And a lot of Buccaneers bite my head off for that. But yeah, just leading up to the game, I thought there were a few things that you saw were starting to build up, and we were starting to almost dominate games and win games in a convincing manner. How do I see? Sorry, what was the second question? How do I see the season going forward from here?
Yeah, but you didn't answer my question, Fumane. Is this a disappointing result, or are you encouraged by them playing so well for so long with 10 men?
Very disappointing result. I think because I really think that we didn't deserve to be, or we didn't need to be in a case where we were 10 men down. So, I mean, I spoke about this on my podcast that I'm almost contrarian with the idea that Innocent Mayela was supposed to go to ground there because he was the last man. I think, and I spoke about it in the preview before the game, that he's one of the experienced players, and being the captain, and these guys being professional. We must remember, we're talking about guys who are playing at a professional level, getting well paid for what they do. So in those high pressure moments, unlike you and I, they're supposed to be able to make the right decision. And I think the right decision in that case was to not foul the player. Try and stay on your feet, see if maybe he's going to miss. And then we've got a chance. It's 0-0, 11v11. So I'm very disappointed with the defeat. I don't care whether we played with 10 men and we hung on for around 28 minutes. I think I wanted to win this one, and there's no convincing me otherwise. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, Orlando Pirates' season. Like you said, Orlando Pirates, I'm a Orlando Pirates fan myself. We've played well this year, 2023. How do you see us performing for the rest of the season, and what will be considered a good season for Orlando Pirates?
I think this, how do I see us performing for the rest of the season? I think this might dent us a little bit. I hope it does not, but usually these kinds of defeats will stick a little bit and they'll hurt, right? They almost kick you in your knees. So, yeah, I think this might affect us. I think we've got the quality. I mean, everyone keeps emphasizing that Pirates has got the quality, Pirates has got the quality. I think that's true. It's a case of just making the right decisions, finding the right combinations in creating the lineups from the technical team side, right? A season that would be considered a success for me, I think I'm already past the point of being optimistic in the league. So obviously I still want to vie for that second spot so we can play in the CAF Champions League. But yeah, for me, a successful season would be seeing how the future of Pirates looks like. So just getting a snippet of what the coach plans to do next season. So I think in the Nedbank Cup, we've got young academy players that are doing well in the academy side, and we've got first team players that haven't performed. So maybe an integration of like some young players, young fresh youth, and seeing some combinations, seeing some lineups that are optimistic and are positive, because that's the other thing that I think we've been very pessimistic in how we line up. We always look to defend first. So yeah, seeing us imposing our game, being optimistic, being attacking, integrating the youth, I think that's going to be exciting for me. We might draw here and there. The coach spoke about he doesn't want to lose the rest of the games after the All-Stars win. But here we've already lost the Chiefs game, so that's football. I'm under no illusion that we're going to drop some points along the way. But I think it's how you drop the points. So if we drop points and we play like we did against All-Stars with a team that I feel is positive and is almost future-proof, then I think that'll be a successful season on my side. Thank God we've already got the MTN 8. So yeah, I think it would be considered a success if the team feels right. Let me say that, yeah.
Sure. So what about the Nedbank Cup? Are you putting your hopes on the Nedbank Cup, maybe another trophy. I mean, 2 trophies wouldn't be bad for Orlando Pirates. I mean, that would be a great season for us, I think.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I agree with that. Although I'm almost caught in between, right? So it'd be nice to win some silverware. That's always nice. The cash prize is always nice, even though I don't get to enjoy the cash prize. Just maybe for the pride side of things, and to get to win something and Chiefs doesn't win something, that's always nice to enjoy. But I'm almost caught in between, because I think these wins, these trophy wins, sometimes they tend to deceive us into believing that we've got a strong team that can compete against Sundowns. But you must remember, the Nedbank Cup is a cup of 5 games maximum, maybe 6 games, I'm not sure, because you play the round of 32 and then you play a couple of home and away fixtures in the knockout fixtures. But at maximum 6 games, 7 games. So you can win that one. But I think what happens in the league is that you've got 30 games to prove if you are a good team, and usually you'll never deceive us over that span of time. So these wins in the Nedbank Cup, MTN 8, although they're nice for the cash prize, I feel like they almost deceive fans in demanding higher standards from the club, and maybe they even deceive the team itself, the club itself, the people working internally, and thinking that things are going well when they're not. And then over the season, you start to be 27 points behind Sundown, and it's like, well, how did we get there after winning that trophy? So I'm caught in between. It would be nice to win it. So it'd be nice to win it. This is my answer to you. It'd be nice to win it, but it would be nice to be able to learn from how we won it, and learn some lessons from the league that we need to improve as a club. Yeah.
I think you said a mouthful there. Love it that you can come on the show and give us your expertise as a Orlando Pirates fan, or how you see it as an Orlando Pirates fan. I myself, as an Orlando Pirates fan, want Operation Tata Zonke next season. And let's hope we do that. Anyway, let the people know where they can find you on social media before the next time we chat about Orlando Pirates.
Sure. So we are on social media as Talking Buccaneers everywhere. So on TikTok, just search Talking Buccaneers, 2 words separate. But I think Twitter uses the @ right? So there's no space there.
Sure.
Yeah, so just @Talking Buccaneers, Instagram @Talking Buccaneers, YouTube Talking Buccaneers. I do full shows there, because I know a lot of people come across, well, a lot of people being the 50 people that follow me, come across my content, on TikTok in the short version, but I do longer podcasts on YouTube, so I get more into the context and all of that. So yeah, YouTube, Facebook, we've got Facebook as well, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok as Talking Buccaneers.
Sure, I like the way you break everything down analytically, and as a Pirate supporter, I'll be following you. I have been following you, but I'll be following you to see for the rest of the season. And let's hope what you said comes to fruition. Thanks for joining us. And like I said, till the next time we communicate again. Thank you.
Looking forward to it. Thank you for having me, Cheez. Take care.
Sure. Let's move on to the best team in the country, Mamelodi Sundowns. In the CAF Champions League, Mamelodi Sundowns and Al Ahly played 2-2 stalemate. Percy Tau started the game, but injuries and bad form has kept him out of the first team in recent times. What should Percy Tau do next? Fight for his place? What should Percy Tau do next? Fight for his place in the team, head to Europe, or come back home?
Percy Tau for me is apart from the injuries that he's getting at Al Ahly, and he's getting less gameplay, but I think it's because of the injuries that he has, and obviously they also have a good number of players that can play his role. I do think that he does need to improve, but you can only improve so much when you're having those injuries. I do think the coach has, faith in him, as well as you saw him in the match. He was, He even got them the penalty actually because he was in the box attacking in the final third. They got a foul there. It was a penalty for Al Ahly, and it wasn't the only situation where you saw Percy Tau penetrating the Mamelodi Sundowns defense. I think he has good passes. He has great positioning, obviously, in the final third or in the big box. So at the end of the day, I think that he's an asset for Al Ahly, and that's why he does play some of the matches when he's fit to play. I just think that these injuries are a stumbling block for him, but I think he should remain there. If not, he should move back to Europe. Maybe try and speak to Vincent Kompany and head back to his team, and maybe even try finding an English Premier League team that will have his use. There's plenty of options for him, or even go to the French league, Ligue A. I think he'll do pretty well there. But for me, I think he's doing well. Even at Al Ahly, it's just those injuries stumbling block, and I think he's getting enough experience that will help him. Obviously, because Al Ahly faces teams like Real Madrid, in the World Cup, Club World Cup. So I think that experience will also hone his skill, and I do think that he must remain there or move back to Europe.
Let's look at the three options here. Fight for his place in the team, like you're saying. One of the major reasons that he hasn't been in the team is because of his injuries. He's been unlucky with major injuries over the past couple of seasons. He has been on the bench more than he has started games this season. And like I said, it's because of injuries. There's no doubting that Al Ahly know his quality. And of course, without Fumz Musisinyane, who was the Al Ahly coach next season and who is the man who did sign him, maybe this coach sees him in a different light. He thinks a certain other player is better than him in this position. Then the option of him going to Europe, that's tricky. I hear you say I hear you say that he may want to go back to England, but England was not an easy place for him. It was kind of difficult. Maybe if you say he can go back to Belgium and try his luck there, but of course it also goes with, are you wanted there? You can't just pack your bags and say, today when are you going to Europe? They need to want you there. They need to need you there. So that's also tricky. Then the last option of him coming back home, I think that will be the worst decision that Percy Tau will make in his life, to come back to the PSL, because in the PSL he's going to have to come back to Mamelodi Sundowns or Pirates or Chiefs. And if you look at Mamelodi Sundowns, it's so far ahead of those other teams that I have named that it doesn't make sense for him to even go to those teams. And if he goes to Mamelodi Sundowns, he'll be fighting for his place with the likes of Cassius Mailula and Zwane and the like. I do not. Yes, those players are very good. No knock to them, but I do not think that Percy Tau, at the level that he is of his career, he wants to be fighting for a place with those type of players. So with that being said, I think the best decision for him, like you are saying, is to stay in Egypt and fight for his place, and see how the rest of the season pans out, and next season he weighs his options on how he's going to move forward his career.
Definitely. And moving to the most exciting point in this podcast, Manchester United won their first trophy in 6 years, thanks to their 2-0 victory over Newcastle United in the Carabao Cup final. Is this a sign of things to come under Erik ten Hag, or should United supporters temper their expectations, because it might be a fluke, if you call it a fluke?
Bongs, I am here to tell you, as a Manchester United supporter, I'm like you. I am not tempering my expectations. Next season, we are going for the league. Next season, we are going for the FA Cup. Next season, we are going for the Champions League. Okay, maybe Champions League, I'm taking it further. But this team with this coach is going to go far because this man knows football. Unfortunately, before him, we had people who didn't know what they were doing, like Ralph Rangnick and the West of the West in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Right now, Manchester United is a team that's moving forward with the likes of Casemiro, with the likes of Rashford, with the likes of Bruno. It's only upwards from now on. I hear these Arsenal supporters are talking too much. They're already in my WhatsApp talking that they're going to win the league and that the Carabao Cup is nothing. Okay, it's fine. We'll talk about the league in May. As of right now, in February, we won the Carabao Cup. I cannot say when is the last time Arsenal won the Carabao Cup, but that's another issue for another day. But as of today, we are the Carabao Cup champions, and moving forward, we are going to win more cups under this coach because manager, coach, whatever, because this man knows what he's doing. And with signings next season, signings that make sense. I'm not too sure the Berghost signing made sense, but with signings that make sense, Manchester United, this is sign. Manchester United supporters, this is a sign for bigger and better things to come.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think that obviously this Ten Hag tenure is a lot different. It's promising. You're seeing victories not only on paper. You're seeing the good players, but you're also seeing the good play on the field, the interpassing, the crossing, the counter-attacking. And it's not only one style of play. At times you see Manchester United moving from box to box. Their transition from the back to the front is quick. Sometimes you see those crosses. You see Rashford scoring goals with his head. You see Rashford coming from the wing, cutting in, scoring those goals. You see Bruno Fernandes coming in and shooting from range. Sometimes he's tapping in. So I think that Manchester United are a team that is obviously much exciting than they were before, as you mentioned. And I think the coach has the right idea, is taking the team forward. I think obviously the results are showing evidence that the team is moving forward. We just beat Barcelona in the UEFA Europa League. So who's to say even there we don't go all the way to the final and win that trophy as well? It would be a great season for United. And as you mentioned, there's still also that league to play for with the Arsenal, the Ghana fans running their mouth. But like you're saying, we'll see there in May what happens. It's only a 6-7 points difference there. Anything can happen. And I think that obviously we've got our priorities straight. As you mentioned, that we also have the opportunity to sign more players in the different roles that we have come the end of the season in the transfer window. So I do believe Manchester United are in a good patch right now, and it's not only a patch for me. I think it's a way to move forward that will have the United fans and lovers very excited to be challenging for honors. When you see Liverpool suffering like this, Man Cities are not the same. That's why Arsenal is busy, leading the log there. But at the end of the day, it shows that other teams like Arsenal and Manchester United are picking up their performances, and that is something to marvel upon.
Yes, and with that, we have come to the end of our show. Thank you for being with us till the end of it. Let me try that again. And with that, we have come to the end of our show. From me, Cheese, it's goodbye, Bongs.
Yep, and from me, Bongs. It's also a sayonara. Thank you guys for affording us this opportunity to analyze and go through a few stats with you guys. We hope to see you again on the next show, on this show, without any